What's going on, guys? We're going to give it just a minute for everyone to catch up and get in the room. And while we're waiting, can you do me a favor and go ahead and let me know if you can hear me in the comment section, please? I'll wait for some confirmations and then we'll get started here. Okay, and there's no problems with the audio. It's coming through good. All right. We'll give it just another 30 seconds and then we'll get started. We're going to start off with the dollar, talking about liquidity. We'll go through maybe 2 or 3 stocks and then jump right into crypto, okay? So starting off here, guys, this is the dollar index, DXY. It's a basket that represents the dollar. What we really need in crypto is we need the dollar to push lower. I've been waiting for this. However, it broke out of our channel, had a little fake, little modified double bottom here. And then once it hit the track line and this resistance, it pulled back. I am really looking for this to target around the $93 to $90 area. I think that'll be the prime area for us to have the environment that we need in order for assets, risk assets, to climb a lot higher. We're also waiting for other things like interest rates to come down. And right now, the percentages, the chances of that coming down for September look really, really good. Okay, so let's move to the next chart. This is a chart also of liquidity. You might have heard this. This is the ISM. The ISM is basically the manufacturing index. It's the purchase orders for manufacturing. You can see that we had a tick lower here with a red dot. A lot of people have been talking about this. What I can tell you is from my liquidity models that I shared a lot with the subscribers. I don't want to get too detailed because it is obviously for them as well. But liquidity slowing down just a little bit. We're still in a bull market. Liquidity is still strong, but it's down about, I think about 7% from last year. Okay, so just slowing down a little bit. And we're looking for this to pick up. And what a better technical catalyst than a squeeze shading to get us back into this range here, okay? So that's it for liquidity. Now let's get stuck into some of the fun stuff. All right, real quick, we'll talk about the stock market. The stock market has been soaring. There's nothing wrong with stocks. They're looking great. And right now we're looking like we're gonna break out of a squeeze shading and push higher, okay? This is the SPX. That is the S&P 500. Why is this important? Well, if you have individual stocks, right, and they happen to be in the S&P, if the S&P goes higher, that same saying that a high tide lifts all boats, okay? So look out for your stocks to climb higher if we break out here on the squeeze shading. I did want to point out that if you have the NASDAQ, okay, this is the chart of the NASDAQ, it has been outperforming the S&P 500. I think that this is a narrative that's going to continue because the QQQ NASDAQ has 50% of its stocks, its basket of 100 stocks, is weighted in technology. And with the AI narrative and chips and all that stuff and space, I think that the QQQs are going to continue to outperform. And in fact, if you look at the squeeze shading, the bar here on the NASDAQ is higher and closer to breaking out here than the S&P 500. So if you had to choose between the two, right now you would go with the relative strength winner, the NASDAQ, okay? Moving on to the next chart, we're gonna do 1 or 2 charts and stocks and get onto crypto. This is another asset I wanted to share with you guys, a little bit of alpha here, okay? It's been really outperforming. I've been watching this, and if you draw this resistance right from the last high over here, high close, we're just now breaking out on this weekly candle, okay? That's why it's so big, because everyone was waiting for this breakout. We got a lot of heads up here when we broke above the track line and made this beautiful, if you look out, double bottom pattern here, okay? Double bottom pattern a lot of times is confirmed by a break of the midpoint. So that was it right there. That was your perfect time to enter. And of course, a lot of people are going to be adding to this position now that the last resistance is so far away, meaning that the supply orders from all these people stuck is further away, which means that it's a little bit less relevant. Okay, I know you guys are waiting for crypto. Give me a moment. Here is Bitcoin. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin first. We'll just go over the daily set. I think it was the 4-hour setup that I gave you guys today. Beautiful setup. If you did not catch this in my video, we're in a stage 4 downtrend here. I really need you guys to pay attention to when we get these squeeze shadings. Okay, I talk about it a lot, but they're really important. Are they going to form a trend out of the shading every time? No, but it happens more often than not, and it's what we call a high probability setup. If you're a trader, a professional trader, you're not looking to make every trade a win. You're trying to get a good win ratio. And trust me, this is as good as it gets with the alpha bundle indicators. That squeeze shading printed that down arrow right here, and that pushed us into a downtrend. And you didn't get faked out by any of these wicks going up back here, going down and all the way up, because the dots stayed red, letting you know that even on a micro scale, it was still bearish. We got that bottom signal. Boom, we're in that bottom signal. Gets rejected here. I'll let you guys know that we're looking for a double bottom pattern and to also look for confirmation or a green dot. That's exactly what we got here with this double bottom green dot right here. And then, of course, we got a squeeze shading once again. And what does this do? A lot of times this starts brand new trends. I got in this move over here, let everyone know about it, and it pushed a lot higher. I'm not a wizard. I just got the right tools. And of course, we're still holding green dots. This is still a good trade. Now, I manage my trades a lot. A lot of people ask me, Wick, how do you exit trades? There's a few different ways that I exit trades. I decide on the trade. This time right now, I'm using what I call an active stop loss. Look at these red dots. It prints every bar, and every bar, it pushes higher. And once the price action crosses the red dots, I get out of my trade. It's a way for me to stay unemotional and make sure that my assets are performing, because if they're not performing, I take that capital out and I find a new stage 2. I'm a stage 2 hunter, okay? But Bitcoin's looking really good. We're right now at $117,000. We did again catch this whole move with a bottom signal. And again, we caught this move here with that squeeze shading and recognizing the double bottom pattern. Moving on to the next chart, guys. And don't worry, we're going to go over the stages. So I know let me take a moment. There was a bunch of members that joined for the first time today. If you were able to make it in the stream, congratulations. And for those that didn't, they'll be able to watch these videos. So know that if you ever don't make these videos, a lot of times I keep them open on YouTube for a couple days so you guys can review them. But we're going to go over stages today, okay? Make sure that you new guys, understand how we are marrying these indicators with structure analysis, okay? Moving on to the next chart. Ethereum has caught a lot of my attention lately. Why? Well, because one of my favorite investors, and you know, for those of you that are in our Discord, we need to start watching this guy a lot more. I don't talk about it, but Stanley Druckenmiller is an absolute machine. He's a billionaire hedge fund manager, and he made it all from zero. He's one of the best traders I've ever seen. I admire him, and I'll tell you what, people don't talk about this, but if you dive into Stanley Druckenmiller, he is a huge, huge fan and believer in technical analysis. Now, he got into ETH, I think it was like 30 days ago, okay? If you look at this price action, was it 30? Yeah, about 30 days ago or 60 days ago or something like that. I believe that it was this bar that he got in, that he started getting orders in. Okay, so a lot of these guys will move markets, but I'm watching ETH really closely. And if you look here on the daily chart, this is what I wanted to show you. We go from a stage 1 basing pattern, okay? And we did get that confirm reversal here for an entry, but below the track line, we want to break above it. We break above it here. This is going from your stage 1 basing pattern, which is a consolidation. And we'll talk more about this soon, but just pay attention here. We break above that track line. That's what puts us in a stage 2 breakout, okay? Now, there's a couple parts to a stage 2, but we won't go over that. Just know that a stage 2 is your uptrend, okay? And you do have 2 parts to the stage. I'll tell you, there's a stage 1, part 1. Boom, it's not that powerful. And the stage 2, part 2 is your parabolic advance. This is how we caught Solana from, I believe, $22 that you can go back on the Twitter. Okay, we caught it from catching the stage 2, part 1 and added again when it broke into a stage 2, part 2. Now, on these stage 2, part 2s, it's very simple for me. I know that they are an extreme trend, with the trend really, really strong. So what I'm looking for is that trend to start to weaken. That's my signal to either get out or to increase my management, maybe increase my stop loss positions, make them higher on the chart, but do some type of management, or at least start to pay attention, okay? Because when those dark dots stop, that's your signal that the trend is starting to weaken. So this one right here, we had a sell-off, boom, okay. Good thing enough, we got another squeeze shading, and we're looking to now break out of that squeeze shading. Ironically, this is right here at resistance, okay, and it touched 1, 2, 3 times, almost 4 times. So a very strong resistance here. So what we needed to get above this resistance was 2 things. What I call a springboard, okay, that's when we drop down past the track line, we bounce off support, get green dot reaction off support, and a lot of times we need volatility to be able to push us past that strong resistance. Beautiful chart. I love technical analysis. I still love it today. This is going to break out here, hopefully. And again, this is what we need here, that breakout arrow to push us past this resistance. And just like Stanley Druckenmiller was looking at, once you break a resistance, it's a good time to buy because a lot of people are then flushed out of that move, okay, from this. Okay, so watch out for ETH. It's looking really good on the daily chart. And my favorite man, Druckenmiller, is in it for quite a lot of money. I don't want to overspeak, but I'm pretty sure it was like $1 billion or something like that. Okay, moving on to ETH BTC. Another way that you can see this, okay, you're comparing the strength, the relative strength of Ethereum to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has been killing the markets lately, right? Your alts have been underperforming Bitcoin. Well, look at this. Okay, we had a squeeze breakout here, breakout arrow. This is what, guys? Tell me what part this is right here. Not the rest of it, but this part right here. Let's see who's listening here. In the comments, tell me what this breakout arrow does. If I had to draw a line right there with all those under here, stage 1. This is a breakout stage 2 part 1, just before we go parabolic in your stage 2 part 2. Now, what do you notice? The green dots stay green the entire time on that parabolic move, okay? And once they end, that was the end of that trend. The strength of that trend is over. I know it's starting again, but do you see how if you are a swing trader, meaning you're not an investor, you're not trying to look at daily charts for long term, a swing trader, this would have been a perfect move to exit there on the loss of dots because you knew that that parabolic extension was coming to an end. Okay. But again, what we have now is we have a squeeze shading and it's already looking like it wants to close above the highs. This is very bullish. So this should be telling you that if you're trying to make a decision right now between Bitcoin and Ethereum, the charts are telling you, there's no arguing this, the charts are telling you that Ethereum wants to outperform even more. We have more volatility and it wants to push that a lot higher and start a new trend because it's had a little bit of a cool off period. Moving on to the next chart, I'm going to compare Ethereum to one more. This is Ethereum versus Solana, okay, meaning that the higher that this chart goes, the more relative strength Ethereum has versus Solana. What I've been loving doing this cycle right now is I've been using this chart to decide when to either switch back into Ethereum or Solana. Okay, and again, Solana is outperforming both Ethereum. Both Solana. Ethereum is both outperforming Solana and Bitcoin, and you can see here's a good sign of strength here on the daily chart. Doesn't look like it wants to slow down, and again, we had a little bit of a springboard here, and this is a parabolic extension, looking like it wants to continue this outperformance. Moving on to the next chart. For all of you meme coin fans, I don't trade a lot of meme coins, okay? But I know this is what the market likes here. We are seeing a little bit of a double bottom pattern. I let the subscribers know about this today, and what I'm looking for is a break above the midpoint. So if you see that or a green dot, this could be a beautiful modified double bottom play. I don't know where it goes, but what we do here at Trading Alpha is teach you guys to only take high probability setups. And this could possibly be one if it confirms. We always need confirmation. Moving on here, Sui, another one. Look at what we have here. Love Sui. We caught some beautiful moves. We caught this double bottom move, not just because of the B, because this was a fractal. This was a pattern that happened just before. Okay, if you want to go over those videos, it was beautiful. Here is a double bottom pattern playing out, and guess what? This is your confirmation here, especially if we can close anywhere above that track line. Track line acts as resistance. Okay, so if we're above a track line, cool, the momentum is in our favor. When it starts to go sideways and we're bracing above it, pay attention. When we break below it, that shows you the momentum is slowing down. Momentum wants to pick back up now on Sui. I love it. Okay. Moving on here to the next chart. Okay, the screener. Before we look at the screener, okay, guys, I want to go over some structure analysis for the new guys. So if you're not new to Trading Alpha, if you're one of our members, oops, what am I doing here? Go grab a coffee or something. You know, this is your time to just kind of take a break if you know the stages. Let me tell the new folks how we work here at Trading Alpha. So you start off with a stage 1 basing pattern, okay? So this is after we've had our bear. Let's talk about it in market cycles, right? It also works on all different time frames: hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. Just get used to these stages. So let's say this was a weekly chart, a monthly chart, and we've gone through your bear market. We've crashed in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now basing here like this sideways. It's touching resistance here. It's getting rejected. It's faking everyone out. A lot of the OGs in crypto used to like to buy these stage 1s and just wait. Okay, let me tell you, that's a horrible idea. That's not a high probability setup. Why? Well, because these stage 1 basing patterns can go on for days, for weeks, for months. I've even seen them go on for years. So what happens? You're stuck in the stage 1 basing if you buy it. Then other assets are breaking out into stage 2. Everyone starts talking about them. Eventually, at some point, you get sick of this. You get out of this. You get into that stage 2. It's too late. And then this breaks out. You're frustrated, you leave the market, you're done, over. I don't want to play this game no more. What you should do is wait for our signals. Either our squeeze shading likes to happen in consolidations, or our bottom signals, okay? And especially once it breaks above that resistance, now it becomes a stage 2 uptrend, the perfect time to buy an asset. And again, a lot of times you'll get that triangle breakout arrow right here from a squeeze shading, because that volatility is needed once again as that catalyst to push us into your stage 2 uptrend. Okay, that's where you make all your money as a trader. And also investors do this too. This is what Stan does. Eventually we go into a stage 3 basing pattern. It starts to cool off. Let's say your dots end right here. Okay, maybe we get some red dots right here, green dots. Know that if we're in a stage 3 basing pattern, we identify this a number of ways. One of those ways is that we are expecting us to go from green dots to green and red. We call this the Christmas tree effect. And again, it's one way how we analyze and identify a stage 3 basing pattern. It's not necessarily bad though. One way that you can manage this is you can always take a little bit of profit off the table, raise your stop losses somewhere below it, and just wait. And if it breaks out above, guess what? You can take that 50%, put it back on. That's a high probability setup, because now if we break above resistance, we're back into a continuation stage 2 uptrend. This might sound complicated, but that's pretty much it. Eventually, at some point, I'm going to have to take all this off my chart because I'm OCD at some point. At some point, we'll go through that stage 3 basing pattern, and eventually we'll break below it, and we'll go into what you call your stage 4 downtrend, aka your bear market. Now, don't get scared. I mean, that's not the end of the fun. It is for most people, but I love a bear market. People that have been with me, following me, know I love a bear market. Why? Because do you see how this climbs at this rate and the bear market falls down at a faster rate? There's a saying called assets and stocks and crypto all like to take the stairs up, slow little ride up, and the elevator down. So if you are able to be nimble enough, okay, and I don't suggest this if you're new, but if you're able to be nimble enough, you can make more money, more profit in a lot quicker a period of time in a bear market shorting than you can in a bull. Very unpopular opinion, but very true, because I've done it many times before. In fact, I did this on Luna when Luna started crashing, okay? Now, I won't go on too much longer. Eventually, this goes into a stage 1 basing pattern, and we start the cycle all over again. Okay, maybe I should go into Bitcoin now and show you an example of this. Would that be fun? You want to see this in real time? Not in real time, but on a real chart. Let's go to the monthly chart. This wasn't part of the plan, but I feel like this is going to benefit you guys. Looky what we have here. We have here stage 1. Okay, so we went through your stage 4 downtrend, right, from your previous cycle, stage 4 downtrend. We go into your stage 1 basing pattern, and what did I tell you guys to look out for? Squeeze shading, baby, and bottom signals. There it is. So your first entry here would be this bottom here at the Pico bottom. It was confirmed. You get into your Bitcoin, and I was yelling this from the rooftop when I saw this. I was even more yelling when I saw the squeeze shading, because I know that is the catalyst to start trends. And we're in a stage one. This should be screaming to you, this is the time. We get green dots. We break out with that breakout arrow. This volatility is ready to be released. We've been keeping that volatility bent up through stage 4, through stage 1. I think it was a couple years, right? Going through that, boom, we break out. And what do you notice on the monthly chart? The dots do not stop on parabolic extensions until the move is over. And on a monthly chart, that means the cycle is over. That's why I keep telling everyone to follow the dots right now on the monthly chart. Harder said than done, especially if you are a mid-time swing trader or you're a scalper. Then you don't want to do this. But you can look for clues not to take those trades once the market ends. Right now, Bitcoin is great. Okay, it's been a harder cycle than past cycles. People compare it to 2017. It is nothing like 2017. 2017 was an absolute monster. Okay, but Bitcoin is not done here, guys. Neither is this crypto cycle. Moving on now to the next chart. Now that we have gone over stages, you're welcome. Please marry that with your indicators for those of you that are new today and have bought the Alpha Bundle. I promise you this is the biggest edge in technical analysis you can do, is marrying our indicators with stage analysis. Okay, so look at this, guys. Here's the screener. We talk about this often. I'm going to go over a few ways to use this. I apologize. It's my fault. I have not made videos on the best ways to use this, and this is probably one of the most powerful tools in trading, and I made it that way for me. I make all my tools for me. Once it's good enough, I consider releasing them. Here we go. Okay, so you start off here on the screener. You can pick stocks, crypto, or Forex. Then you pick your time frame, okay? So for instance, let's look on a daily chart, because not too many things have been going up for a while now. And you can pick a number of things. You can pick our usual reversal signals. My favorite is the bottom signals here, okay? But you can also pick confirmed bottoms. This is where one of the two bars are breaking above or a green dot, and simply just search for all the crypto bottoms that are confirmed right now on any time frame you want, weekly, daily, 6 hour, 4 hour. Okay, so for us, I'll tell you what, I think right now, since just a lot of assets are picking up from that correction that we had, let's look to see if we can find those that are making just one dot, just printing one dot, showing you that that strength is just now starting to pick up. We'll hit that search button. And again, there's many more things on here. Let's look here and see if we can find something good. Link, I like Link, but that's the BCC pair. Link. Let's look at Link right here. I can already see it. Oh, that's beautiful. So look at there. There's a modified double bottom. No one will talk about modified double bottoms because they're not technically sound. I came up with this term because both stocks and crypto got so much more volatile when bots and algorithmic trading came in. That pattern started to skew. Okay, but you got a confirmed reversal here. You got your stage 1 basing. What do you see in your stage 1 basing? Squeeze shading. It happens like this all the time, and they try and tell you technical analysis doesn't work. Daily chart, green dots, parabolic extension, dots end over here. If you would have taken that trade, that is a beautiful trade. You get out of the market. You're done. Boom. Can't make higher highs. It's making a lower high. We fail. Once you get a confirmed reversal signal, this was your entry into getting back into Link. And this, again, is on the daily chart. Green dots, sign of strength, meaning a big bar that confirms the double bottom above the midpoint. That's your entry. Right now, Link is looking good. That's a great setup. And we just got this here from the Alpha screener, okay? Let me go on to the previous chart, the Alpha screener. I want to show you guys one more way to use this that I have not been showing y'all, but I put it in there. And it's my favorite thing that I've added. Let's go and do weekly. It's fine. Stage 2 uptrends. You hear me talking about stage 2 all the time. I've put them in the screener. It's here under price, guys. Price. High, stage 2 breakouts, just breaking out. How do you read this? This is the amount of candles that the price has been under the track line, meaning a stage 4. So if we had to put this at something like 40 or 50, 40 bars under the track line. That's a bear market. Now, this is the number of candles that it's now, after being under the track line, breaking above the track line. So if we put this at like 5, 4 or 5 or 6, hit search, it gives us all the results of just current stage 2 breakouts. Okay. Of course, we know that Litecoin and stuff is breaking out. So you can go look at these. ETH BTC, we just looked at that. Let's see what it looks like on the chart. You see this? Look at this. Track line, red, being under the track line that whole time. Boom, modified double bottom, breakout into stage 2. We caught the stage 2 here with that screener. That's why it's so easy and one of the best tools you can have. Moving on to the next chart, guys. We went over link. Okay, what I want to talk about here is I know a few of you are in the exchanges. There have been a lot of people telling you to buy the exchanges. It's a bit of a different exposure than buying the assets. And everyone has been talking about coin more than Robinhood, okay? Because coin is doing this and they're helping industries connect with crypto and integrate. Well, I'm telling you, coin does not look as good as Hood does. And I've been saying this for a while, okay? The relative strength is not there. You had your stage 2 parabolic uptrend, okay? Your parabolic extension on green dots, they end right here. You take your profit because guess what? After that, it gapped down and it's still below this resistance. Let's compare this chart to Hood. You think which chart you think is better? You don't even have to answer me. It's very clear. Hood is breaking out into a stage 2 uptrend. Okay, had a little bit of sideways action, did not gap down, is still above the track line and is now printing a squeeze shading, wanting to break out. Okay, you draw a little bit of your resistance here on the close. Boom, it's breaking out on a close. If we close the day right here, Hood is a breakout. That's a setup. That's a high probability setup. And guess what? We're about to get a breakout arrow. All right, phenomenal. Moving on here, guys. I know this is a bit of a long stream. It's got a lot of alpha. A lot of you guys have been in Rocket Labs with me. We got in this. Who remembers? Was it like $8? Like $8, I think. Okay. It's now at $44. Okay. But what's happening now, at least on the daily chart, again, if you guys are watching the daily chart, it's your midterm time frame traders. You guys are looking for swing trades. Do not confuse that with long term. And definitely don't confuse it with short term scalping. Okay. So midterm traders, I would look to take profits here. You had that beautiful stage 2 part 2 uptrend. The dots held true the entire time, keeping you in the move. Okay. But now we're going from a stage 2 into a what? Who knows what the next stage is called? Give me a quick answer real quick in the comments. Anybody? Stage 3 basing pattern. This is a stage 3 basing pattern. You can see how we started to lose those dots. Thank you, Tim. Tim, I appreciate it. We started to lose those dots. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get a red dot and we get that Christmas tree effect. Stage 3 basing pattern. This is where you take some caution. Maybe take some off the table if you're a mid-time frame trader. Okay? Stage 3 basing. That's right, backcountry bound. Thanks again for always being so active everywhere, Discord and Twitter. I appreciate you. Okay, so what I would do, I'm not trading this midterm. One of my theses is space, and this is one of my favorite plays. I'm also in some private equity as well, okay? But let's say I was a swing trader here. I would take some profit off the table. I would take 50% profit off the table. I would take my stop loss, and I would probably put it right there. Okay, just like a rough look. I'd put it right there on the other 50%. That way, if it does fall down, I've already taken 50% off the table, profit on the books, good trade, and I'll get out my other 50%, avoid that stage 4 downtrend. Okay? Whereas if it doesn't break, so Wick, what happens if it doesn't break down? What if it breaks to the upside? What if you get another leg up? We get a little squeeze shading, we break to the upside. Cool. Well, I got 50% exposure. I got more exposure than I did because I got all this profit. And I'm going to take that cash and I'm going to treat this like a brand new position. Get back into that stage 2, baby. Stage 2 continuation. Boom, I'm back in. That is how you soundly manage your trading and reduce the volatility of your P&L. All those drawdowns, this is how you reduce them. Okay? Moving on here, guys. We're almost finished. NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA is looking fantastic. I talked about this to the subscribers on X. I think Trump came out and it was crazy, like 100% tariffs on chips if they're not made in the US. And what does NVIDIA do? It gaps up. It gaps up in a squeeze shading. Also looking to break out. This is the technical catalyst to get us above the highs. It's that simple. Okay. So guys, let me see. I think that might be it, but we can talk about a few things. I can take some chart requests. Oh, here's another one, a pendle. I talked about this one quite a few times. Little double bottom pattern here on the 4-hour. Okay, you draw your midpoint. That can be a confirmation. Confirmation can also be a sign of strength. This big bar is your sign of strength. Breaking above the track line, that's your entry right there. Don't worry about it. A little bit of volatility. It's a mean. You expect that. Squeeze shading, breakout arrow. Here's your brand new trend. Parabolic, baby. Green dots. Just hold them as long as there's green dots. That's it. Okay. Besides that, guys, if you don't have the alpha bundle, I'm not going to make this a long pitch, but now is the best time to get it. I usually save 25% discounts for Black Friday. We have one right now. So if you are one of the subscribers to X and you're just seeing this, this is usually for alpha bundle members. I'm going to get back to them and take some chart requests. But if you want this, head to tradingalpha.io. The code is 25 off. You simply just enter this code during checkout for the alpha bundle or the screener, and you can get it right there. Okay. And make sure that if you do join this, that you do get this, make sure you join the Discord. A lot of great members there, and I'm starting to do a lot more of these streams lately. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to take some chart requests. If you said it before, please say it again. I'm not going to go through all of the comments. But if you have any chart requests, I can do them real quick. You can jump on there, or any questions for all of you new members. If you've got any questions over the stuff that I went over, now is your time to get those questions out. Let's stay here on BTC and watch it go up. Okay, I see Bonk, LTC Weekly, Ton. All right, we can't talk about too much of why we chose these. I see some members must be subscribers. You know, I gave them a few of my fundamental picks. I like to look for fundamental things that are fundamentally sound, and then look to confirm them in the charts. Okay, so let's look at. Guys are going fast here. Hold on. Look at LTC on the weekly chart. I know that's a hot one right now. Litecoin, weekly chart, beautiful. Look at this. I mean, you guys are starting to see how I trade. It's this simple. And you know what's beautiful here? You get that reversal candle that identifies the first leg of the double bottom, and then you get the bottom signal that identifies pretty much the entry on that second leg. And let me give you some insight into how double bottoms work, because I'm such a nerd for this stuff. We call this the puke leg. The puke leg, because back in the day when we're just trading stocks, right? I wasn't around this long, but when you used to call your broker to get in and out of your positions, you were screaming right here. Oh my God, you would call him, just get me out, get me out. You're basically puking yourself because your profits or your principal are disappearing. You get a little bit of a bounce. People get a little bit greedy. They get in this. Oh yeah, it's going up, right? V-shaped recovery. That almost never happens without some synthetic stimulus. We'll talk about that in another stream. We start to pull down again. These guys that just bought here, you start to go into a loss. They get out of it. So what happens right here at this point? There's no liquidity. Everyone's out. That means it doesn't take as much liquidity coming back in to push that asset all the way up. And that is the structure and psychological fundamentals of a double bottom. You're welcome. Okay, but sorry, back on track here. This here, LTC is looking great. Weekly chart, we're breaking above. Of course, I must have drawn this line on the daily charts, so it must be some type of resistance. I like it. I'd like to see it close here. It does have 3 days, but this is what we call a sign of strength. And what would you do? What would you guys do if you were managing this position and you got in on this bottom signal right here? How would you manage it? What are you looking for to watch now that we're probably going into a parabolic extension? Anybody? I must forget that there's a bit of a lag. There's a bit of a lag when I talk. I keep forgetting that on Twitter, not Twitter, YouTube. Okay, there's a lag there. Yeah, look at you guys. You guys all know what's up. Ride the green dots, baby. Those green dots are still printing. There's no point in making any other logical decisions because there's none to be made. It would only be emotional. There's nothing there to tell you to get out of this move. This little pullback If you're looking at this pullback right here and you're thinking, God, I should get out, I'm in profit, right? Sure, you can do that, but that's an emotional decision that is not a logical one, and there's no data behind that. Okay, the only way you can play this right now is to hold as long as there's green dots, and also set a stop loss somewhere where your pain point is. I can't tell you where always to set a stop loss, because what is a pain point to you is not a pain point to me. Everyone's got a different risk tolerance. We talk about this a lot. Okay, let me look for another setup here, guys, or another request. Pengu. We'll look at Pengu, and we'll look at SEI. Okay, now when you guys make requests from now on, just know this. You also have to tell me what time frame you want. Are you a short-term time frame trader, mid-term, or long-term? You can even tell me the time frame, right? But if I'm looking at a 1 hour chart and I say it's bearish, everyone in here might go, "Oh, John's bearish on an asset," when in reality the weekly might be perfectly fine, like Bitcoin. So we'll look at Pengu. I don't know what you want. We'll take a look at it. Okay, if you're long-term right here, quite frankly, I'm not long-term on any meme coins, right? But I will look at a weekly chart to give me an idea of what the overall trend is. So what I might do is I might look at this, go, "Oh, that's beautiful, little modified double bottom, green dot. We're going parabolic here. Okay, so the trend is in my favor. Let's go down to the daily chart and see what it's doing there. Ooh, okay, we're forming a little bit of a modified double bottom here. It's not confirmed. It can always be messy and just fake out. I would look at a midpoint, and this one here, I would probably, just to be safe, because it's a meme coin, I look at that midpoint. I want to close above here. What would make me feel really safe is if I got a green dot that closed with a green dot, right? Letting me know, not me emotionally deciding, but letting me know that that trend is starting to strengthen on a micro scale, the first sign that it's starting to heat up. But I like that pattern. I wouldn't get into it just yet. We got the weekly in our favor, but I want to see a little bit more strength. If there was any of you guys that have a low pain threshold or risk tolerance, I would wait for a close above these highs right here. Okay, but this is a valid setup. If we get a sign of strength, a big bar, a green dot, that would all be very, very welcomed. Okay, let's go on to the next asset. Let me see what I can do for you guys. Let me pick one or two more, and then we're gonna call it a day, guys. All right, let's see. What should we pick? Okay, I see two for CRV, so we're gonna go with CRV. Also recognize John there from Twitter, Jon. What you do? What's up, John? CRV. You know, it's really cool when I get to know some of these CRV, some of these members, because I recognize them. A lot of you guys will write me and say, "Oh, I've been following you for years. I've been an Alpha Bundle member for years." Yeah, I recognize you guys. Trust me, especially you day one guys. When we didn't have many followers, members, I recognize a lot of you guys. Okay, so CRV here. Again, you need to, how about this? Can you guys please tell me whether you are a scalper short-term, swing trader mid-term, or investor long-term on the CRV? And that way I am giving you the right analysis and not misleading you. Daily time frame, okay. That country bound, Honda CRV, that is. That's funny. I'm a car guy myself. Okay, so let's look at the daily time frame. We're on here. So what do you guys notice, right? I've taught you a wealth of alpha here. Stage one basing pattern, we get them beautiful Bs and that squeeze shading like we often do. We got the track line. Stage one breaks out here in the stage two. Green dot, the trend starts. We go into a parabolic extension. You're not selling nothing, baby. You don't care about these little pullbacks and all these fake outs here. You're holding as long as there's green dots, but they end right here. And what do you notice? We go from green dots to red dots, below a track line, above a track line. This is stage 3. Okay, so if you were in this move, this is where you start to take some profits. You start to do some little risk management. Okay, I would not buy here on the daily chart. Let's look at what it looks like on the weekly. Is the weekly in our favor? Got a beautiful double bottom here, actually. The weekly is in our favor. We have not lost those green dots. Okay, if you got in very low here on this weekly. But I don't see a setup yet on the daily, and that would be our precision entry, the one that you're looking at, right? You're analyzing it on the daily. The weekly's in our favor, but there's no setup yet on that daily chart. So my feedback would be to be patient. If it's going to go up, there's going to be a setup. Okay. And I do kind of like the structure here, but there's no green dots. There's no green bars. There's no squeeze shading. I'm a bit cautious still. And it looks like we have some resistance right over here to clear. Okay. To close above. Clearly, right? This could be basing and we could just fall down. So I would not buy this just yet. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on this Trading Alpha stream. I really appreciate it. We've got quite a few people in the room, and just know that I also appreciate all you followers that give me feedback. You guys allow me to have this connection with everyone. And what I learned from being around everyone on Twitter is that not only do I love trading, I've been doing this for 20 years now. This year is 20 years for me. I still consult for a bunch of funds. It's still great. But I've never been in a teaching environment, and you guys have taught me. I love teaching. I love teaching. It's great, and it gives me a purpose. So thank you guys for joining, and I'll catch you guys on the next show. Cheers.